Hello, welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place with friends who get game goodness each and every Monday, usually. My name's Bill Black. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be here on this historic weekend where Minecraft became the highest grossing opening weekend of a video game adaptation ever.
It's funny you mention that because you ruined my bit. I was going to say this week we're all here to talk about Nintendo Switch 2 review. But first, BBC writes, a Minecraft movie storms box office despite lukewarm reviews. A Minecraft movie has proven to be a box office success, bringing in an estimated $300 million globally. What's going on here, Ash?
It's a kid. The kids like the Minecrafts. So I know you went to the cinema today. We're going to be talking about it on this week's What Do You Want to Watch?
Well,
Neither of us went to see Minecraft.
No, but I'll tell you right now, there was a Minecraft screening at the same time. At least had 3 times the amount of people that were in my cinema.
Yes. Same. Yeah. I went on a Saturday, which I don't think I'm going to make that same mistake. And yeah, the cinema was way more packed than I'd ever seen it in the last 6 months, maybe.
By all accounts, the movie's awful.
I don't know. I guess it's just what tone you're expecting and that kind of stuff. Like, I know a lot of the reviewers here that I see at all of the press screenings, a number of them enjoyed the film for what it was. It's not high art in any way. But, if you're you want a dumb, zany film, apparently this is it. So
I saw, you know how people love to record when they're in the cinemas now?
Yes.
Which I hate, but also it led to me being able to try and understand this movie somewhat. I saw people uploading clips for someone the other day, and their audience was cheering at, I assume, a bunch of scenes that were like references and moments.
Apparently, a Minecraft movie is The Room for kids.
Yeah. It took me a second to process, but okay.
Apparently, we've had some mean movies in the past couple of years. Obviously, Morbius, I guess, was a mean movie that people were making fun of, but also it wasn't
Sony,
Despicable Me 4.
Sony didn't realize.
It was the Minions movie.
The Minions movie, yeah.
They got all the kids going to the cinema. So I think a Minecraft movie is kind of like that, but maybe not with. It's like a even lower age demographic than the Minions joke audience was. But yeah, it made a ton of money. So look forward to another Minecraft movie coming soon.
Wild.
And it should be called another Minecraft movie. I'm putting it out there. Plant my flag. If it's not called that, I'll be disappointed.
All I know is I saw a clip involving Jennifer Coolidge's character talking to a villager who doesn't speak, and
her character was very popular apparently amongst reviewers.
Just playing her usual bit. But
she couldn't let the week of the finale of White Lotus go by without an appearance somewhere.
Had to ruin it. Now that she's been killed off, had to try and ruin it for everyone, you know what I mean? So.
I heard in the finale she comes back and kills everybody. Is that what happened?
I'm watching it, so
no
spoilers, you know what I mean? I'm probably watching it after this,
That makes sense.
Yeah, that would all right, but Switch. Obviously, not much happened in the past week. I don't think anything happened in the past week, and obviously it makes sense why, because Nintendo owned the news sphere when it came to all things video games last week. They put out
end of last week would have been a fantastic time to put out bad news.
Yeah, would have definitely got buried. And I'm surprised.
Actually, I think there was bad news. Wasn't there?
Riverboy
Playside here in Australia?
Playside had some people, but then Riverboy, the did the music for Cod Lamb and stuff, passed away, unfortunately. But
oh no!
Yeah, so there definitely was bad news last week. So,
but nobody noticed because of Switch 2. You're all disgusting people.
True. It's also both stories. The story my mind went to someone dying, and the story your mind went to Australian studio loses people. Why are both the bad stories in Australia? Anyway.
But other bad stories happen else.
Who knows? Switch to try and dig into a bit deeper, but overall, obviously the reveal video event thing, we watched it live together. Feel free to watch along with us. It's on YouTube now and clips on TikTok. The clips do well, I found out, Ash. The clips do well.
Yeah. They do. I think they like our snarky remarks the entire
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
pushing them back. Yeah, we were very.
Yep. All I know is that someone left a comment that said legs, and then they had a bunch of emojis. I was like, what are they talking about? I was like, oh, wait, yeah, hold on. No, I said that. Yep.
Think when that would have been in the presentation if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. What now that days passed since we watched it together, how do you feel about the overall presentation of coming out and revealing it?
I think it was a good presentation. Like, obviously they had some, I mean, if you have a new Mario Kart on your system effectively day one, I mean, that's a system seller and is going to get you, sales numbers. It delivered on a lot of the stuff that we wanted from a Switch 2. Better graphics, better performance, bigger hard drive. You'll be able to play games in 4K when it's docked. It did a good job of finally allowing Nintendo to be home for a lot of third-party stuff. I think there was a very heavy dedication part of the time spent, like saying a lot of recent titles that would be on Xbox and PlayStation are now going to be on Switch too. So they're slightly catching up to the other consoles, and that probably puts them in good stead for the next 5 years. Especially when I think a lot of the decision making around this console is the real competition is the slew of handheld consoles that are currently flanking the market.
All the PC handhelds, I guess, and
Yeah.
with the rumors Sony wanting to get back into the market, Xbox rumors to be partnering up with brands for their own Xbox Game Pass sort of handheld. Yeah, that's definitely. I would say it's an interesting one because the more I thought about it, and the next day and everything, when I was more awake, it's. I'll tell you what. That by the time I got everything done and I was laying in bed, like the last thing I did after getting to bed and I was fucking doing that thing where my eyes were struggling to stay awake, is all I did was save all those TikToks as drafts, so that periodically over the next 72 hours I could just open up the draft and go post. Well, I could remember what they were all about. The next I was thinking about, it seems like they with the focus on, hey, the battery life is a lot shorter this thing now handheld.
Well, we didn't find that out till later.
Yeah, but after the fact, I just feel like, doesn't it almost feel like it's sort of, they're like, hey, we got a bit more competition on the handheld market, so we're going, hey guys, it's it's 60 frames in 4K now docked. Like maybe they're trying to push back, remind people it's something. It's not just a handheld. It's a home console.
It's a home console as well. Yeah. So, I think lots of interesting changes, lots of odd things they're focused on as well. Obviously, they hard push into multiplayer and group chat. That's what the C button's for. Chat, communication.
Chat. Yep. Why didn't we think of that?
I don't know.
I thought it was going to be for cunty. Here in Australia, that's actually
here in Australia, it could be. With the whole camera and the microphone built in, and we'll see how good that delivers on those kind of things. But the clear focus, on multiplayer and group chat and that kind of stuff is interesting. Whether they've got information that's I wonder how much data they've got behind some of the decisions they've decided to make and that kind of stuff. I'm sure we'll never find out, but no. It's it turns out the Nintendo voice chat app, there was a lot of users, or they found out that a lot of people were using Discord while they were playing their games and that kind of stuff. So why not meld the two? And
they found out people use Discord a lot while playing games, did they? They found that out.
Maybe.
That's a shocking discovery.
But they want to do it, but in a way where they have a lot more control and can protect their younger audience, I guess, that kind of stuff. So, and obviously a lot of focus on, a lot of new games. Obviously they didn't have a lot of launch day titles, but obviously they've got some big hitters down the pipeline, and not all family games that you would expect from the Switch or an Nintendo console.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that the biggest takeaway from the event for me was that it is a lot of Nintendo saying, hey, we've got this third-party support, which is sort of odd for them. Obviously, usually Nintendo, you're buying their console for their first-party games, your Mario, Zelda, what have you. But the fact that they end the show on a From Software exclusive game that everyone thought was Bloodborne, just shows interesting direction. Not a kid's game, not a Nintendo IP. That's the game they end the Switch 2 reveal event on. It sort of says something about the direction of this console, I think.
Yes. I think the most telling game that was announced for the Switch 2 was IO Interactive saying the next James Bond game is coming to the Switch 2.
We'll play on it or launch on it as well.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a downgrade from where you can play it elsewhere, but to still be able to say, yeah, we're going to have a version running of our next gen brand new James Bond game whenever, is pretty impressive. Considering, you have to wait 2-3 years for some titles on game to PS4, Xbox 360 or Xbox One to come to Switch.
Overall, I think if I was ranking the show, I guess before we dive into some more stuff, I'm probably around a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it missing?
I think I'm probably, it's not just Nintendo. This is sort of any video game console review. I'm just looking for a bit more of that first party. I'm looking for a bit more of that exclusive dog. I'm looking for a little bit more of that.
I don't know that your expectations will ever be met again. Unless Xbox's entire slate kind of lines up perfectly.
What do you mean?
Just to this, the fact, the nature of game development at the moment, how long games take to develop, and how many games are out there that are developed by third parties. It's so much easier just to showcase a bunch of third party games that do show your slow progression of your first party titles.
True. I would take more third party exclusives as well though. Like a lot of the stuff was just third party game that you already know about coming to our console. It wasn't like
that's fair.
Exclusive, other than like what the
Bloodborne
thing,
yeah,
the non-Bloodborne thing, So it's like that. They had and then a couple other games, but the majority of it was like, hey, this game that you already know about, that's coming to other things. It's coming to us, which is cool because then it's that yes, the Switch 2 is getting more third party support out the gate. But all those games, I'm like, I already knew this game existed. I already knew it was coming to every other console on the market. So just not as exciting. It's nice to know, but it doesn't make you, especially get super excited about the console.
Did they screw up by having the direct last week? They should have saved all the exclusive reveals for this week.
No, I just think even one more game would have made a huge difference. Would have bumped it up a little bit. I just feel like the ratio feels off. It doesn't feel balanced. Is where I'm at. They need some of that Link's crossbow training. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's go a little bit here. So Joy-Cons officially the magnetic thing, C button. Nothing much else changed. How do you feel about the magnets and the? I guess that's the thing. How do you feel?
Yeah, it'll be. I wonder how long the warranty is. How long before those white magnets don't quite click the way they used to? And then, that happens. I think the best thing that they added was so the buttons are a little bit like on the top of the Joy-Cons. If you're playing just sharing Joy-Cons, like the L and R buttons that will go into where the magnet says, they're quite a bit bigger. So that's
quite a bit bigger. Yeah,
going to be very helpful. So that's a good addition.
Then of course the C button's right below the home button now. As we talked about before, is for chat. I think that I don't have it in front of me, but pretty sure it's free for everyone for the first year, and then after that you got to have Nintendo Online. I think that's the general.
That sounds right. Yeah. Which people are also getting upset about. It's like voice chat that should be free.
The thing I want to know is voice chat locked. I actually don't know the answer to this question.
On
Is voice chat
PlayStation and
locked on
Xbox? I don't
PlayStation,
know.
Xbox, unless you have the subscription, or can you do that without, but just not play online? But then no one's calling their friends on their fucking console anyway. So it's like if you can voice chat Valve online, no one cares. You want to be like,
yeah. What it, just, you know.
Yeah. Also, Nintendo's charging to play online with friends is they're already doing it, and so is everyone else. So
yeah, it's pretty standard.
I don't know what's new here. Yeah, it's pretty standard. I don't see the big deal.
I think the key thing to take here is Nintendo is not taking a loss on anything.
We'll see.
Foreshadowing.
Mouse function. Put the joy. We wasn't sure if it was real. I think I went on record and said there's no. I don't think that's real. Months ago, whenever the rumors were going around, it's real. You can put the Joy-Cons on your use them as a mouse. You use them both.
How do you think that's working? Do you think it's the gyroscopes within this Joy-Con that allows it to like appear like a mouse, or is there like a sensor that's like detecting the movement?
I don't know.
Like an actual mouse.
You'll need a bit more. I don't know if anyone's got the information on this. Let's see. A quick Google. So, Joy-Con is fitted with an optical sensor.
Okay, there you go.
On its flatter side, the side that magic.
It's totally like a mouse.
It's totally a mouse. Yeah. Yep. They showed off people that got to go hands-on. Select Media got hands-on. Started posting videos, including press start. Shannon was posting on TikToks and stuff about it. So
did they fly? Was that here in Australia, or did they fly out?
No, they were in New York for that. I think is where they were.
Took a while for their content.
People were playing with the mouse function. though. The drag and drive game, you can play that with both mouse. You're wheeling and dealing. Mario Party, Jamboree, and then of course Metro Prime 4, the big one, because you know Kieran can finally be happy because he can play he can play. Look, the Switch can play at 120 frames per second with a mouse.
Yep.
What more do you need?
No, nothing else. You know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can have one Joy-Con attached to the console. You can steer, move around properly. And the mouse, so you can aim the way they like it. You know, best of both worlds, as I would say.
That's right. Apparently, you can also I don't know, it automatically senses or something. I think, at least for what I was reading, you could put it down if you put it down and it recognizes you've switched at the mouse mode, it'll automatically change the controls.
Does it? So it's going to be PC and Switch players, and then console players separate.
And then you'll have the Switch players in online multiplayer games complaining about people using mouse mode instead of handheld, and which is better and all these sorts of things.
Yep,
love that. Other big things, I guess, were USB-C on the bottom and top. The top now because there's a camera. And look, honestly, I do think the camera is the wildest, most random thing. To me, it almost seems like they were designing this thing, and they were like, well, they made all these improvements on the hardware side. They were like, it's we can do 60 frames now, we can 120 handheld, we can do 4K with Mario and all these, we'll be able to run all these other third-party games, great. And then someone at Nintendo stood back and went, it's not really Nintendo enough though, is it? It's not, what's our gimmick? And they're like, we got the C button, no, we got the mouse Joy-Con, no, it's not fucking. And then someone in the back of the room just stood up and went, how about we just we bring back the Kinect?
Yeah.
And that's what they've done.
Yeah. They've got a camera, and they've also got the built-in microphone that's going to be listening to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to all your things you shit talking Nintendo for.
Yeah.
And then fix them or ban you. So don't talk shit.
How long does this last before no one even remembers it's a thing? Do you reckon?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
But I guess, again, it just depends on how much it is actually supported. I'd suspect there'll be random first-party weird
first-party game Nintendo has a site mode. And if you have the Nintendo Switch camera...
Yeah, you can when you have the Mii Fighter in Smash, You can take a picture of yourself and just replace the face with the Mi 5.
Definitely worth the $100 or whatever the camera costs.
Side note, did you see this?
The Piranha Plant thing?
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
Cancel your cameras. Wait till you can buy the Piranha Plant camera.
Yeah.
Because it looks cool.
It does look very cool.
And you can also shut it so you can make sure the camera's not on when
it's finally
you don't want to be
functions.
for your weirdos who think everything is being hacked.
Yeah. Or, people like me who just love to do naked yoga every morning. So,
I mean, you can do that in front of your camera, assuming it's not hacked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah. Assuming it's not hacked, that's a problem. Camera's weird to me. But as you mentioned as well, the mic, which in the video, of course, they made a big thing of talking about how good
big
the
claims.
microphone is. Big claims. You get the microphone is built into the console. So, and if you're playing it with a Pro Controller on your couch and someone in the background's making a fucking milkshake and vacuuming at the same time, apparently the mic will still pick you up super clear. And
or even as someone pointed out, you're clicking and clacking on your own Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Won't hear that. We'll hear your just voice.
If true, sell it to all Twitch streamers, whatever microphone technology is involved.
Yeah.
But I got a big old doubt button on this one. Huge big doubt button.
Skeptical, some would say.
Skeptical indeed. Yeah. Now, I think, just on the tech side, I guess, before we move on to some games and stuff like that, but I think the 60 frames 4K, I would nearly expect all first-party Nintendo games to hit that going forward. I think third-party games are going to be hit and miss.
Did they promise 60 and 4K? I don't think they did.
They said it could do up to 60 and 4K.
I don't know if they could say it at the same time.
No, they said it could do 60 and 4K.
Okay.
But it's a whole thing of saying the PS5 could do 8K. No games did it.
Yeah. It's possible. We haven't figured out how to do it yet, but
I would I think that Mario, the next Mario 3D game, if they're it runs at 4K and 60, I'd be like, cool. Seems fair. But then if, they're Cyberpunk, which is coming to it, they're that runs at 30. And if you at 4K, just.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't be expecting any third-party games to
unless they're exclusive, which I guess is technically second party, but
even Mario Kart, the big title, the big launch game, I'm assuming that will be running. If I was to throw out random numbers, I'd say best work scenario 2K at 60. And I think that's fine.
It's going to have a performance and graphics mode.
And then 30, it'll be 30 frames. But who the fuck's playing that? Anyway, you probably would. You're a sicko.
I know. People who were going around taking the photos doing that game,
Yeah, I want to get the prettiest photo mode from Mario Kart.
Yeah, absolutely. See that cow.
All right. So, it comes out June 5th.
Less than 2 months away by now.
Less than 2 months away. Costs $6.99 Australian for the normal console, and then $7.69 with the Mario Kart included, which is just a download code. How do you feel about the pricing here in Australia? We'll touch on the eventual US stuff.
I mean, it's more than we expected, but also less than we expected on the night when we were scrambling around after the presentation trying to figure out what the price was going to be and seeing some prices elsewhere on exchange rate and that kind of stuff.
All I'm going to say is, when you remember because you asked me, I think at some stage, because I've been putting my money for this for about 12 months at this point, just a very small amount for 12 months. I had $800 in there.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be.
You didn't think it was going to be using it all on the console.
I just wanted a little bit of a buffer, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of buffer for something. So I've worked out all right for me because I just pre-ordered the Mario Kart World bundle and I had $40 to spare or whatever, or $30 to spare. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot higher than people were expecting.
Mm.
You know, I again, we need to like consider where we are now. This is in a marketplace with a ton of handhelds, all trying to use the same kind of hardware. So, you know, there's a scarcity issue. So that's probably driven up the price a little bit. We've also know that chips have gone up in price a fair bit these last few years. So, you know, and you know, I wonder how much money has gone into the dock that actually, you know, upreses these games up to full, it allows it to be played in 4K.
Good know.
And then I wonder, like, should they have launched with 2 SKUs?
What do you mean? Like
A dockless version.
A dock? You're just talking about Lite then. You're talking about Nintendo Switch 2 Lite.
Or just one without a dock.
Mm. They have never sold a Switch without a dock, though. That wasn't a Lite.
Yeah.
It's never been an option.
Why not, though? You know? I think that would have taken a little of the heat off. I don't know. I think they knew that the price was going to be an issue because they did not have it during the presentation. They're like, we'll wait for somebody else to break the news.
I don't know. I feel like real world events meant that they were so uncertain of prices whenever they filmed that video, which was probably a month ago.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
They probably filmed that video like a month ago. And then, you know, someone's edited it and whatever else. They've had it sitting there in the can ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been so uncertain because of real world things, which if we want to tie into, obviously in the US, Switch 2 currently unpre-orderable.
Yep.
Switch 2 on pause pre-orders in the US because of Trump's tariffs. Because Nintendo doesn't know how much they need to charge for it, given the tariffs.
Yeah.
So I think the price hold off was all based around that. Because they really wasn't sure if they could announce the price.
Yeah, it's a funny side story. I like obviously went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, and I saw this story about everybody's in the Nintendo Treehouse stream putting drop the price in the chat. I'm like, they did drop the price. They let all these news outlets release know what the price was. It wasn't until a while later that I realized they were wanting them to lower the price.
Drop the price, yeah. And the thing is,
I don't think they can.
No, they can't. This is the thing.
Like anywhere in the world, I don't think they can lower the price. I think they are running this
I
either
reckon,
minimal profit or at cost.
Yeah, and I reckon whenever they figure out what they're doing in the US, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than what we're paying now.
Yep. Thanks, Trump.
Thanks to people who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know?
I find it personally very fucking funny. I'm going to be honest. Very funny.
Yeah. Did you see the signs of the hands off parades or protests over the weekends?
Yep.
Hands off my Switch too.
Yeah. People like tweeting out stuff being like, wow, no one really cared until Trump came for the gamers. Like, you know, like.
Yeah. This will get people moving,
This will get them. The Switch 2
like
prices.
The two worst things Trump could do. Piss off gamers and like deport some Korean pop stars.
Yep.
You know?
It was about to get worse because apparently his TikTok deals are going to fall through. So then people come back to go about that too, you know? So, yeah.
But at least he's in the next round of his golf tournament.
Yep. But yeah, how wild is it that like they had to be like, you can't do pre-orders in US because the price is fucked. Also, Sony, very smart. Did you read about that?
No.
So Sony, months ago, seeing what was on the horizon with Trump come back in and all this sort of stuff, got a shit ton of stock into the US.
Smart. Yeah.
PlayStation stock currently fine. Prices currently will not be rising. They said and they announced this. I remember reading this story months ago where they said that they were getting a bunch of stock in because they were predicting this or assuming this was coming. Now, of course, once they run out of that stock, the prices will have to go up on the next lot.
Yeah.
With the tariffs and everything. But currently the stock that's already made it to its way to the US Good job, Sony.
So, US listeners, get in now.
Did you also see? Only because there's so many. There is in Japan. There is a Japanese only language version, which someone worked out. If you could read Japan, read and listen
Japanese.
Japanese. What the fuck am I saying? I've lost it. Words. Yes. If the language known as Japanese
is readable to you,
is readable,
comprehensible to you,
comprehensible to you, you can import that son of a bitch and still pay less than dealing. Like if you import that by yourself, you'd still pay less than buying it properly. Yeah, crazy.
Wow. I do have one interesting question. I don't know if you've gone to EB or JB recently.
I have not.
You can still pre-order the Switch too.
Yeah, stock's apparently fine.
So what is it? Is it less interest for the Switch 2 than the expected? More stock? Or
more stock, 100% more stock.
Do you think they're moving all the stock they were going to send to the US to everywhere else?
They might have.
It's like, we'll just sell it everywhere first until you're putting these tariffs down.
The price is going to go up in America. Pre-orders are going to drop in America. So they might. Like, I just don't see it going any other way. The Switch 2 is going to sell less in America because people are going to want to pay the price that they need to sell it for to cover the cost. Now,
hang on.
I also think that as far as like Australia and UK being readily available, I remember reading stories about the rumors about Switch 2 manufacturing and Nintendo preparing to make sure they don't have a loss of stock. I remember reading that shit a year ago. You know, I think they've been preparing for this launch for a very long time, and I think based on the launch of the PS5 and the Xbox Series XS, that they well stocked up. I think consoles will be readily available. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Let's see.
I think
the US smacked Japan with a blanket 24% tariff. So what's the?
Well, it doesn't go off RRP. It goes off.
Well, I'd assume it would.
I don't think it does. I think it goes off. I don't know.
What do you think? GameStop and Target and all them are going to take a smaller percentage than they were.
No, it goes off what they're paying for it. Like, you know, how much are they paying?
But they're going to take. For? Do you think they're going to lower their percentage of markup?
No. But like the consoles, they sell it for $450. Let's say they buy it for $421 because then we know they don't make a bunch. So there's 25% of $421, right? I think that's the
yeah. But then you would assume then
they're going to add more.
Yeah, the retailers are going to add more.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be, let's just say,
it's going to be like another $100.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, something like that. So,
which is like 200 Australian.
Yep. I can't wait for them to announce price because then it'll be the one time maybe in the history where you can do the cost thing and be like, wow, it's actually cheaper.
It's going to be crazy when we see
someone's
stories
importing it from America.
No,
from
people.
Australia.
They're not smuggling in drugs anymore. They're smuggling in Nintendo Switch 2s because it's going to be cheaper. You know,
possibly. I was watching side note just because you're on it, but it's a while.
Sure, this is side note's the episode.
Yeah, it is currently. I was watching Four Corners. They had an episode a couple weeks ago about the like illegal cigarette industry that's in Australia.
Yep.
Because of the costs and stuff like that,
taxes
and all these taxes. A lot of the shops are around Brisbane. Actually, I don't know if you're aware of these. A lot of these little shops around Brisbane selling illegal cigarettes. So, but how it's so
I've never seen them.
Yeah, it's so. You're a big smoker. I know you are, secretly big smoker boy. Big tobacco cougher over there. Yep. Big fan. Yeah, it's interesting sometimes when you think through history, like the things that people. I mean, obviously go all the way back to like booze and fucking Al Capone and stuff. But I always find it interesting when like these things happen. You know, what government causes things or restricts things or put prices on things, and humans always go, I will illegally figure out a way. You know?
Fuck the law.
Yeah, fuck the law. So, don't clip that. All right. So, yeah, at launch. Now, I'm going to presume you're not a launch person, which is fine because I don't think there's
No.
much here for you for launch, which is totally fine. How? What else do we need happening here to get you to pick
Price drop.
up?
No. Yeah, it's a price drop or a lot of money just pops up somewhere. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so it's not a game thing; it's just it's a price thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, or I'll be honest. You struggle to find time to play the PlayStation I've got at the moment. So do I need another console? Probably not.
That's fair.
Okay.
All right. So launch or not launch, but games announced so far. Let's just read through this list. So you get Mario Kart World. You're getting Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, which is basically a manual for the game that costs money, and it's a digital title.
Yeah. I mean, it's their 1-2 switch for this generation. I wonder if the focusing on the manual aspect was a smart decision, like in the showcase. Like they could have it's a collection of mini games that allows you to test out all the new features. Like
it definitely wasn't
like
smart.
they could have made it sound more like 1-2 switch. And
Definitely
we've also got this mode where it tells you about what all the things that the Switch does.
I'll go as far as to say it was a terrible decision because it just made it look so fucking dumb.
And then they said it's paid.
Yeah. Now you thought for a second that it wasn't. I was like, no.
Because I thought surely they would not do that. Yep. Surely they would not make this title that looks like a manual a paid title. But I was wrong.
It was very wrong.
Not even free with online. Crazy.
All right, games. Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, Deltarune, which was
all the chapters,
exclusive,
apparently.
but all the chapters, and was the official reveal that the final chapter would be coming.
Assuming there's 4 chapters. Has he confirmed there's only 4 chapters?
Yeah, he's confirmed there's 4 chapters. Yeah. Old Toby Fox. Fast Fusion, Fortnite, Hit World Web Assassination Signature Edition, Hogwarts Legacy, Kansami Gami Path of the Goddess, Nobunga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition, Puyo Puyo Tetris 25, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, Sid Meier's Civilization 7 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition,
with mouse.
Split Fiction, with mouse support, Street Fighter 6, Survival Kids, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 Edition, and Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. And then, of course, that is launch window, I believe is what I'm reading off here. Sorry. Launch window. And then we've, of course, got the Duskbloods, which was announced, the From Software game that was talking about, coming in 2026. And Donkey Kong coming in a 3D announced game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which was July 17th, the month of a following on. And then other games, which I don't think we ever got any, they're just a list of unknown coming. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and then Kirby Air Riders.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that list of things?
Yeah, solid list. I think I don't know how much you want to deep dive on the different games that were first party games that were shown.
Any that stand out to you? I mean, go for gold.
I mean, Donkey Kong. It's like the more that we found out about it in the days since, like it's going to be, it's from everybody's purporting is from the team that made Mario Odyssey. Definitely a new version, like new twist on Donkey Kong. He wears pants. I don't know how people are going to feel about that.
You're really stuck on this pants thing, aren't you?
It just doesn't look. When you have an iconic look for a character, why switch it up? That's how Donkey Kong looks. He was just in a massive movie with no pants on. He was just he's going to be your Mario Kart game with no pants on. Suddenly you put pants on him. It'd be like Porky Pig running around with pants on. Daffy Duck or Donald Duck. Donald Duck with pants. Ugh, ridiculous. But anyway, apparently all the stages are going to be destructible and that kind of stuff. So, looks like a good time. I don't know much about the Hyrule Warriors stuff, but obviously that's like the closest you're going to get to a Zelda thing at launch, unless you want to replay the upgraded versions of the other titles. Obviously, they mentioned like the DLC, like the upgrades of a few titles I think what was it? Obviously the two Legend of Zelda titles, they're more enhanced rather than like a full upgrade. But what was it? Kirby's and the Forgotten Lands will get a full DLC. And
the DLC, right? Yeah.
There was another one that got like a pretty hefty DLC. Oh no, it was Mario Party Jamboree. We'll get a bunch of new mini games. A couple
new mini games, yeah.
That's definitely worth the upgrade. So, but yeah.
Oh, so you're buying it? So you're buying it?
No, I'd say it'd be worth, if you had a Nintendo Switch 2, worth the upgrade. Yes. Kirby Air Riders. We have not heard of this game before. We're unfamiliar with it. Apparently, the other one was like 20 years old. So the people who are getting upset about it are not knowing what these games are.
Yeah, I saw that the first time I saw someone like, they didn't know what it. I'm like, fuck. I didn't. I'm sorry. No. I don't know about this fucking game.
I'm betting you'd never actually played that game either. You've just watched YouTube videos and what did Sakurai do in his entire career before Smash Brothers? You know.
Also, I googled it afterwards. Let me just bring it up again because I'm pretty sure I don't want to get my facts wrong at this point. Hold on. 61 Metacritic. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
not even a good game.
Not even a good game.
You're getting upset about a not good game.
You know? Yeah.
You know what is expected because Kirby games they just kind of pumped out. You know.
Yeah.
It's easy to animate. He's a Plink Bob. But that is like, Sakurai. He should be allowed to do whatever he wants after all he did for Smash Brothers, all those games. Weird to have two racing games in the same year.
Yeah, it's weird. That was the main thing. They announced this, and we're just, same reaction of why the fuck are we? Why are we getting all these?
You
racing
can just
games?
have it on the shelf for a little while. Just space them out. Very odd.
It was very odd.
Any titles stand out to you? How do you feel about the Dustbloods game?
Look, I'm intrigued in that. I think
PvP. Right. Multiplayer game.
The people are annoyed that it's more focused on like co-op multiplayer and stuff like that. Cool. It's like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? I'm sorry, it's not Bloodborne 2. I too am annoyed.
Bloodborne Junior.
Bloodborne Junior. That would be a great name, actually. that would be very good. If they would pull that off. Look, Mario Kart's it. I think like that's Mario Kart World is the
must-have game.
Must-have game. I think out of everything else they showed, nothing super excites me from any of the third-party stuff. There is a part of me that's like, well, if maybe when I do my Yakuza finally, when I get to 0, I guess I got to play the Switch version now. When I go back to playing Yakuza games, because this is the best one.
The canon version. It's got a new DLC,
extra cutscenes, new DLC. So I have to play this version. And you know what? Maybe. I think Pokemon looked a bit better, and just the idea that that's obviously going to play a lot better is nice to know.
Yeah.
It's not exciting.
Have they confirmed the past titles, the other Switch ones are going to run better on this?
No, no. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting because here's the thing, right? I don't think past Switch games will play better on Switch 2 because I don't believe any of those games are running in an uncapped state that the hardware will suddenly improve it. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I just don't think that's how Nintendo would code and make their games.
Okay.
Because this is the thing. For games to suddenly run better on better hardware, they kind of have like restrictions that have been held back by the power of the engine it's in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if they've designed them to cap out at 30, then it doesn't matter what engine you put them in, But I mean, that I guess that's my thing. I'm keen for, and I mean, look, I'm excited for Donkey Kong, and I know it's only a month later, but if I'm looking at like day one, I get this shit home, I'm playing Mario Kart. I'm not. I don't have like I'm not rotating through 3, 4, 5 games going, fuck yeah,
Because there aren't thrifts.
No, that's the thing. And I guess the other sad thing is if you don't care about Mario Kart, like the only other games I'll be rotating through, I guess, are all going to be original Switch enhancement games.
Hmm.
Just isn't like. I'm sure there'll be an element of, oh my god, this plays so much better. Or this is cool. I can definitely tell. Cool. But like, as far as like it's a brand new console, I want exciting new games. It's just not as exciting.
That's what we say every single time, though. You know, what was your day one PS5 game? Demon Souls. What else?
I'm trying to remember actually. Demon Souls.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah, well, there's 2 games.
So, I mean, that's already one up.
It's already winning. Now you got me. I want to know. I can't remember. I got more now. I want to know launch games. What was I playing?
Oh, Astro's Playroom. Yeah. Bug Snacks.
Fucking Astro Blade. Yes, Bug Snacks. I was playing Astro's Playroom. I was playing. What else was I playing? Demon Souls, Devil May Cry, the special edition I was playing.
Sackboy.
What else did I jump into? Sackboy.
Godfall.
Did not play that. I think that's it. The Pathless I play. Overcooked All You Can Eat I can play. I know they're enhanced ones, I guess. But I mean, look, what Sackboy, Marvel, Spider-Man, and what was that one? Demon Souls. I know it's a remake, but it's like a full-on remake, not a remaster. So I'm counting it. That's 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And look, you give me 3 original games, 3 games I can't play elsewhere. I think that's totally fine. 3 is a good number. If Donkey Kong was here and not a month later, I think that this launch lineup is a lot stronger. You know, day one, if I'm switching between Mario Kart, when other people picking up that bad boy in day one and playing with them, and Donkey Kong by myself, that's a good mix. You know? So that's all I'd say.
What? So, well, let's see. So you've got Mario Kart, maybe Deltarune if you want to play it on your Switch. But that's coming to everything.
Yeah, it's coming to everything.
Yeah, everything else is kind of third party or already released, you know.
Yep.
Other than the Welcome Tour.
Yeah. Which, look, I forgot to mention because I don't think of it as a video game. Make me pay for manuals after they took them away, you know? Ridiculous. So that's why I'm at a 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Still keen for the future of the console. Still definitely think Nintendo has a place in the ecosystem alongside things like the Steam Deck and whatever else. But yeah, launch 6 currently.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Any other thoughts?
So other couple of things that we didn't mention. So they've implemented Game Share. So if you got a copy of a game on a Switch, you can share it with other people in the nearby. So if you're playing a multiplayer game,
talk about this other week. They announced it at the end of the Direct. They announced it.
No. That was you could share the game cartridge and they could take it away. That was digital game cartridges. But say you're playing Mario Kart, you only need 1 copy of Mario Kart for however many different Switches.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yes.
No, this is cool.
Yes.
This is fun.
And it seemed like it was running on every version of Switch. So I don't know if that's going to ring true. Like, if you've got one version of Mario Kart World on Switch 2 and the Switch 2, can you play that with people on original Switches?
Doubt it because it's a Switch 2 game.
But maybe it's just streaming, you know, over the Wi-Fi.
I doubt it because then no one will buy the Switch.
I'm pretty sure they showed like the card game thing that was streaming with other versions of the Switch.
Is that also available? Is that game also available on like
that could be?
Switch?
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be weird to me if they're like, yeah, this exclusive game you can play on the old console.
Also on Switch 2 was it online? Nintendo Switch 2 online with expansion pass. We'll be getting GameCube games in the future, exclusively on the Switch 2. GameCube games will not be coming to the Switch. And of course, you'll be able to buy a Switch 2 version of the GameCube controller.
Pre-orders for those will sell out. That's what's going to sell out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pro controller, they put triggers on the back, like big triggers, for the buttons. Those look pretty good. Hefty. Solid.
A lot of these things is just like, I hear people, you look at it, you're like, cool, I need to feel that bad boy. I need to feel that Pro controller to tell the difference. Looks pretty similar to me.
The other news that came out this week is it seems like Nintendo Switch 2 digital games are going to be cheaper than physical or in-store games.
As they should.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. The reason... Well, sorry, everyone.
And there's also going to be a price rise on games.
Yeah. The reason that people always theorize that digital games and the physical game price is always so similar is so that they don't piss off physical stores and they refuse to... all these stores refuse to sell their games because then they have no one to sell their games. But in a world where everyone's becoming less and less reliant on physical games, and more shops aren't even selling them, and EB Games and GameStops and whatever becoming more and more pop vinyl stores and game stores. Yep. And in a world where getting in the physical game is now going to cost more in the US, especially, obviously. Having them cheaper on digital, yes, makes sense, obviously. So...
what it really means is Nintendo is giving up the cut that the retailer gets. Really, it's not going to hit Nintendo bottom line too bad. It's just
and they would have the numbers now.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are just buying all their Switch games digitally versus buying physically? Like, they would be able to see that.
Well, I mean, now that they've committed to like an online library continuing between generations, it makes sense to double down. Will Xbox and Sony go this direction? Probably not.
Don't know. We'll see. Depends.
Although it doesn't seem like Nintendo, like, how much is Mario Kart World?
Oh, it's like $110, isn't it?
Yeah. So what?
People were going off about the price of that game. Now, I will say this, you know how when people go off about the price of video games, but then people will be like, oh man, games are so expensive. But The Witcher 3, I would have definitely paid like $150, $200 for that because it was worth it because of the amount of time I played for it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have.
A, you wouldn't have. But also B, if you want to go down that road, Mario Kart is definitely one of the games where you're like, if there's a $110 video game, you're going to be playing this for the lifetime of the Switch 2. On and off, at all points, when people come around, when there's game night. You know what I mean? Like, this is a forever game. This is also a game that's going to probably have a lot of updates and DLC and whatever else throughout the lifetime of the Switch. I think if there's a premium price game that makes sense, this is okay.
Yeah. Obviously, SD cards. They're still a thing.
Red now.
They're red and expensive. So yeah. And JB, Mario Kart World is $114. Donkey Kong Bonanza, $104. But the Bravely Default HD remaster only $54. Interesting.
Makes sense because it is a DS.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Street Fighter Year 6. Street Fighter 6 Year 1 and 2, $74.
Somewhere.
So I mean, they're all over the place. It's interesting. Like, So yeah. And then the other weird thing, Hollow Knight Silksong showed up for like a brief second in a montage.
Do you like that game still exists?
It's still coming. Apparently, they said this year.
Yep.
It's going to be true.
I can never keep up if that game's on Xbox or Switch's release calendar. You know what I mean? Like who
has the rights?
Who has the drop? Who gets the release date drop?
But is that the thing that maybe Nintendo doesn't have it and Xbox has the rights? Or more likely, Jeff Keighley has rolled up with a truckload of money. Is like, please, some of the games first. Let me showcase Hollow Knight Silksong, so I can go cry about it, get emotional about being able to make this announcement.
Today's announcement is one that I know gamers everywhere be waiting for and clamoring for. It's one that's got me super emotional.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely happening at Summer Games Fest, isn't it? Yeah, I got nothing else. Anything else?
No, I think that's everything. Let's can't
do the click anymore. Doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, but they kept the click in the.
Yeah, it's a clap now. Magnets.
Is it? Yeah, a slap.
Yeah,
You know?
slap.
No, I think we covered pretty much everything, you know. So
Keen. Well, I'm getting hands on next month, so stay tuned.
yeah, you're going to Melbourne for the pop up thing.
Mm.
I think you can't. If you haven't already got a spot, I don't think you can get. You know, so
You definitely could not get a spot at this point.
Yeah, are you surprised it's so soon? I guess is the other thing.
Oh.
Like the very short turnaround, like 2 months, less than 2 months. You know.
No, it makes sense. I feel like we always assumed it would be whenever they announced it was going to be like a couple months. Well, actually, no, you didn't. You reckoned it would be longer. And then we went back and I remember we looked and was like, hey, the Switch one was announced here, and it came out like 2.5, 3 months later.
Yeah.
So the Switch, it's a quick turnaround. Nintendo isn't here to play, you know?
Yeah, I guess, you know, again, the big story is going to be price going forward. Like, how much is that going to affect sales? Because I'm sure families have been planning to get like one for each kid or something, and that is not an option you would assume for most families.
Not now
anymore. So, which is good because these kids should learn to share. You know,
it's very fair, very fair. And it's a console. You can literally take those Joy-Cons, throw one at each kid, hit them in the head, and say, "There you go."
You know,
play multiplayer.
They want them to play multiplayer, so you know,
play that FromSoft game in co-op. You know,
yeah, on the same screen. I assume.
Don't know how it works, but yep,
we'll find out eventually.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode of Arcade Couch. If you want to check out all those clips we're talking about, find our TikTok channel at Explosion Network. Fuck if I know. Just search Explosion.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other. I honestly can't remember. I don't really promote it, eh?
Or just go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Explosion Network. That one's Explosion
Network. There too. Yeah, we've got the video there. The short should be there too.
Yeah.
Instagram, whatever. Check out explosionnetwork.com. Should be kicking back into gear. There's much been posted on there in the last month, to be completely honest, but should be back to regularly scheduled content. Getting back to it soon. And let us know your thoughts on the Switch show if you'd like. Follow us on Blue Sky, explosionnetwork.com.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and that won't come through. It definitely will get clipped out in the silence thing. Anyway, I clapped. All right, goodbye.